So in 2024, the world built an enormous number of solar panels and wind turbines. So many that fossil fuels were kind of, well, left behind. What do you think is driving this move toward clean power?
Hmm, that's quite an image. Let's dig into the numbers for a minute. Today's May 8, 2025, and according to the latest IRENA report, 92.5% of all new electricity capacity added in 2024 came from renewables. That's 585 gigawatts added worldwide, a 15.1% growth rate, which is actually the fastest we've seen yet. Renewables now make up 46.4% of global power capacity. So why such a big leap?
Main drivers are solar and wind, really. Together, they made up about 96.6% of those new additions, and solar alone was more than three-quarters. Costs keep dropping, technology's improving, and governments are stepping up with stronger policies. But if we look closer, one country is really leading the way: China.
Yeah, China's numbers are actually kind of staggering. Nearly two-thirds of all new renewable capacity last year came from China alone. They added, 277 gigawatts of solar in 1 year? That's a 45.2% jump. Plus, they hit their 2030 clean energy targets 6 years early. But it's not just about hitting targets, is it? It's a total shift in their energy mix.
Exactly. For the first time, China's installed solar and wind capacity is actually greater than coal. They invested about $818 billion in renewables in 2024. That's more than the US, EU, and UK put together. So it's really a structural change. Coal's no longer the backbone. But this shift isn't happening equally everywhere.
Right, there's definitely a geographic divide. Asia's leading, but when you look at places like Central America and the Caribbean, they only added about 3.2% of new capacity. The G7 countries made up 14.3%, and the G20 together, 90.3%. Do you think this means some countries are getting left behind in the transition?
It does, unfortunately. To triple global renewable capacity by 2030, we'd need annual growth of around 16.6%. That'll take faster action, more targeted policy, and a lot more international cooperation. Otherwise, those gaps could get worse. And it's not just about building more power plants. The transition has to be fair, so everyone benefits.
That ties right into the economic and environmental impacts, doesn't it? Renewables are creating new jobs, lowering energy costs, and improving air quality. Antonio Guterres even said renewables are powering down the fossil fuel age. But are those benefits reaching all communities?
Not everywhere, no. Some countries face challenges with financing, complex permitting, or building up local manufacturing. But there are useful lessons from leaders like China. They used financial incentives, made permits easier to get, and invested in homegrown manufacturing. Other countries could adapt those strategies to their own needs.
And then there's the workforce, right? Shifting from fossil fuels to renewables means retraining workers, reskilling, and placing new projects in areas that need them most. If we ignore that, could job losses in fossil fuel sectors actually slow the whole transition?
That's definitely a risk. Reskilling is crucial, and it matters where new renewable projects are built. It's not just about speed. It's about making sure the transition is fair for everyone.
The technical side's evolving too. With all this new solar and wind, power grids need to upgrade, better forecasting, more energy storage, bigger transmission networks. Are countries able to keep up so far?
Some are making progress. Real-time electricity markets and smart grids are helping to balance out the ups and downs from renewables. Storage, like batteries or pumped hydro, is a big part of the puzzle. But honestly, it's a challenge, and infrastructure investment has to keep pace with all the new capacity.
So looking ahead in 2025, it feels like there's both momentum and a lot of pressure. The expansion in 2024 was historic, but keeping that up will demand more investment, new policies, and global teamwork. The real question is, can we keep this pace and make the transition truly global?
And that's the big challenge. Switching to renewables tackles climate change and brings new economic opportunities. But it won't just happen automatically. We have to keep pushing, keep learning, and keep working together.
So, just to sum up, in 2024, renewables led new electricity generation, mostly thanks to record solar and wind growth, with China out in front. But there are big differences in how fast different regions are moving, and what happens next depends on policy, investment, and making the transition fair.
Thanks for joining us while we broke down the numbers and the story behind this global shift. The clean power revolution isn't only about new technology or economics. It's about shaping what comes next. Stay curious, keep asking questions, and we'll catch you next time.